Hey reversers, it's dinner time and today we are cooking chicken pot pie. And I'm gonna make a couple versions and variations of it because I cook for my husband and my mother-in-law, and I also cook for myself. And we all know that chicken pot pie usually comes with the crust. So for my husband and my mother-in-law, I've got these pre-made pie crusts, which you know is made of flour and all those other good things. And because we're trying to cut down or cut out our carbs, I am going to make a pie crust out of almond flour, coconut flour, an egg that's lightly beaten, some cream cheese. There is some butter in this recipe. There's some apple cider vinegar, some salt, and then the recipe called for some xanthan gum. That sounded chemically to me. So I looked for a substitute. They said just use egg whites. So I've got some egg whites to substitute for that in this recipe. All right, here we go. So I've already pre-measured the ingredients to kind of take care of all of the time that I waste pouring and mixing up. So I've already measured everything out, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this recipe for our flourless pie crust for our chicken pot pies. All right, so first I'm going to add the almond flour, the coconut flour. Let's see here. This is the almond flour, guys. Here's the almond flour. So I'm gonna add that to the food processor here. And that was 1 cup of almond flour. And then this in here, it's actually 5 tablespoons of this coconut flour. So I'm adding that into my food processor. I'm gonna put just a dash of this salt in there. And at this time it calls for that xanthan gum. So I am going to go ahead and put that, and it called for, sorry, a half of a teaspoon. All right, guys, sorry about that. My phone actually rang in the middle, so I'm gonna pick up where I left off. And I think at that point I was about to add the egg whites in place of the xanthan gum into the food processor. And the recipe called for a half teaspoon of that. So I'm just gonna kind of do, I don't know how you do this with an egg white, because it's kind of all sticking together. This is a new thing for me. So I'm just gonna scoop a little in there. Put it like that, I guess. I don't know. Hey, I'm trying, right? There you go. All right. So I'm gonna put that to the side. So it's telling us to put that in there. I'm gonna pulse this around until it's combined pretty evenly. You guys take a look at that, can you see? All right, I'm gonna pulse it. Okay, it looks combined. At this point, it's telling me to add the butter and the cream cheese and then pulse it for a few seconds. So I'm gonna start with the cream cheese here. And this is a 1/4 cup of cream cheese. And I will post this recipe. I'll put the recipe in the comments. So there's the cream cheese. And it called for 3½ ounces of unsalted grass-fed butter cold. And I looked up 3½ ounces of butter, and it's about a little bit more than 1/4 stick of butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this butter in there. And it told me to pulse it for a few seconds before I put the egg in. So put it in there, I'm gonna pulse it up. Of course that butter. I'm gonna push that butter down some. So it's nice and crumbly. And then I'm gonna add in the egg, and it was 1 egg lightly beaten. So that's in there. And then also it's calling for some apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of that. So I'll grab my little teaspoon over here and my apple cider vinegar. We have that. Okay, and we're gonna push this together until it says the dough just begins to come together, but before it comes to a ball. So let's do it. They're saying like wants me to take it. It wants me to take it out and pat it into a round. So hold one tight, 1 second. So here's the deal though, guys. I am not a baker. I love to cook, but I'm not a baker. So this is actually fun and interesting, and I'm learning. So I'm gonna take this cling wrap. Okay. Okay, that came off pretty good. I always have trouble with that. So I'm gonna take this out like they suggested. Oh, it's like really slippery. That's weird, it's slippery because of the butter. Put that in there. All right, okay. And it says make it into a ball. So that's what I'm gonna do, guys. Make it into a little ball-y thingy. Is that how you do it? It says pat it into a round. And then it tells me to refrigerate this for an hour. So I'm gonna come back in an hour with this. And then I'm going to roll it out and start on my chicken pot pies. All right, see you guys in a minute. Okay guys, I'm back. I have my dough ball here. It's nice and cold. And the recipe says make sure you work with this under cold conditions. So I'm just gonna take it out, and I stole one of these pans from my other pie crust. Those pie crusts I got from my husband and my mother-in-law. I already put in the oven to cook down a little bit before I put the ingredients in it. But I'm gonna go ahead and steal this crust, and I'm gonna put my dough in here and try to make it into, I guess, a crust. They said roll it out. I'm gonna go ahead and do as I please because I'm a little bit hard-headed, I think. I'm gonna press it into this. I was gonna put it in that glass container at first, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here so I can at least pretend I have a real pot pie. That might be kind of thick, so I'm gonna take some and save it to put over the top. The texture is not like a regular dough, and they did say to work with it when it's extremely cold, and I didn't let it get that cold, but this is good enough for us trying it today. Then I could tweak it next time I do the recipe. And this is fine. I just don't want it to be too thick, right? Patting that around. I'm gonna smell it. I like to smell things if you haven't noticed. I low-key smell a little bit of the apple cider vinegar. But that's all right. We'll see how this turns out. Hey guys, if all else fails, I'll just eat some broccoli, right? I don't know. I don't mind at all how this is looking. I'm gonna just keep taking out more and more because I want it kind of thin. I don't want a super thick crust. And I'm also going to show you guys the difference in what I do when I'm making the insides for the chicken pot pie, what I'm making for my husband and mother-in-law, and then the way I'm going to do it for me. All right, I think this is pretty cool. It's a little thick right there. I'll bet somewhere, and I just got this idea today, like, as I was sitting here at home, and you guys know I'm quarantining, so I can't go out anywhere. I already got my COVID test today, the rapid test. It did come back negative, but I'm having some small symptoms. Like I've got some body aches, and I got a little headache. And so nothing bad though, just kind of feel just a little like something's not quite right. So I'm not sick. And they recommended that I go and do the PCR, which is the longer test, not the quick test, because sometimes they get what do you call it? a false negative on those tests. So I'm gonna go out tomorrow and get the PCR test so that we can make sure that I am safe from this COVID. Okay, I'm glad this was thick because now I have enough of this dough to put on top of my chicken pot pie. So what I'm gonna do with this is just like I did with the other ones, I'm gonna put this in the oven and let it brown before I put the other ingredients in it. All right, so that's that. It's not pretty, but hey, it is what it is. Take a little bit more of that out. See, I'm just kind of trying to lightly coat it. So I'm gonna throw this in the oven at 350 and cook it until it's browned, and then I'm gonna put my ingredients in it. I'll be back in a moment, guys. Okay, guys, now for the fun part. I'm going to make the filling. First, I need to show you that I have already browned the pie crust for my husband and my mother-in-law's chicken pot pie. And ours is still in the oven, but as soon as it browns enough, I'll put it out, I'll bring it out and let you see it. But in the interim, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make the filling for the chicken pot pie. And this is not like grandma's, this is just something quick and easy that you can get together with no drama. So what I'm first gonna do, I've got these two pots. This is for theirs and this is for mine. And the reason why is that two different ingredients are gonna go in for thickeners, okay? So for theirs, I'm gonna take this extra virgin olive oil, I'm gonna put a little bit in the bottom, just a drizzle, and I'm gonna drizzle a little bit in this pan as well because we are going to take our vegetables and saute them, at least our base vegetables. So I'm cheating a little bit because this is quick and easy, right? I got this seasoning blend and it's onions and peppers and celery. And so I am going to be pouring this in each of those. That's gonna be the base for our chicken noodles, our chicken pot pie. So I'm just gonna cut that open. And I'm gonna divide it between the two things. So that's theirs. They'll get most because they have two pies, right? And I only have one. And so I put that in there. Hope so if you can see that. So I'm gonna turn the heat on these and just saute those vegetables. And while those sauteing, I also have some mixed vegetables. I have 3 packages of this. That's gonna go in it. And for my husband and mother-in-law's chicken pot pie, I'm gonna add cream of chicken soup and some cream of mushroom soup to theirs, and also some chicken. And then for ours, I am going to make a little thickening mixture. This is some milk, and I'm gonna add some almond flour to it, and that's what I'm gonna use to thicken up our broth, okay? All right, so we're gonna let those start cooking. That one's getting going already. Oh, also for mine, I'm gonna add this vegetable stock as well. All right, vegetable stock. You could use chicken stock or chicken broth if you like, but I just have that vegetable stock. And I'm getting our pie crust out of the oven, almond pie crust. Hey, I gotta tell you guys, it's not too bad. Look at that. It's browning. It's there. It's solid. So I'm gonna put our fillings in there as soon as it gets ready. Quick and easy. As you can see, this is just that one seasoning blend, just to get us started. And I'm just gonna let these saute a little bit until they get soft before I add the other ingredients to this. And remember, we're still gonna put it in the oven, so they'll get the opportunity to cook a little bit more in there as well. Those are softening up very nicely. very nicely. And in the meantime, I do, guys, have the chicken unboiling here. I don't know if you can see it. We'll get our chicken unboiled. And I put some seasoning in that. I put some chicken bouillon, and I put some garlic powder with, what is that, parsley in it? Yeah, garlic powder with parsley and chicken bouillon just for some flavor. Those are getting nice and soft. You can see inside that pot. It's getting nice and soft. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these mixed vegetables. It's got carrots, green beans, and corn and peas in it. Excuse me. I'm going to put 2 bags in the big pot. There's the second one. I'm just going to mix those in there like that. I'm going to let those soften and cook down before I add the other stuff. And then in ours, I'm going to go ahead and add our mixed vegetables. Oh, I don't know if you can see. I'll make sure you guys can see. There's ours. Add the mixed vegetables in there. And in ours, I'm also going to add some of this vegetable stock. I'm going to add a touch to that. This is a little bit dry. You can see that. Yep, and I'm going to bring that to a boil and soften those vegetables up a little bit more. And these guys, I'm just beating them around a little bit, mixing them around a little bit so they can get soft and warm. Then I'm going to add the other ingredients and let it boil in there. And then we're going to fill those pie crusts and bake it again. So remember I told you in the big one that I'm cooking for my husband and my mother-in-law, I'm adding the cream of soups, the cream of chicken and mushroom. That one's a mixture. And this one is as well. Get that mixed in there. And I'm going to add some more. This one is just cream of chicken with herbs. Let me see what's on the back of that can, actually. You know what? There's only 9 grams of carbs in this. That's not too bad. So that may not be a bad option for us, actually. And I'm mixing that in there. Can you see that? Nice and creamy. That's going to go on the inside of our chicken pot pie. Throw that off of there. And here's ours over here. And I'm completely experimenting here with this thickening agent because I'm going to thicken it with some milk and almond flour. I don't know how that's going to go over, but this is an experiment, right? I'm trying. I'm doing my best in the name of Jesus. So, I'm going to put that way down to simmer on that side. I'm going to pour some of that milk out because I don't think we'll need that much. So there's that milk. And right here, I've got this almond flour. I'm gonna start off with this little spoon. I'm gonna put a couple of those in there and see what I come up with. I'm gonna put another spoon of it. And I'm stirring that in there, this almond flour and milk. I'm gonna try one more. Again, I'm experimenting, guys. Trying to see what I feel like. I'm gonna turn that flame up just a little bit. You get a good boil going. So my hope is that this almond flour will thicken up like a regular flour would. We shall see. Let's test it out. It looks like it's flaking up a little bit, guys. Put the rest of that in there. Let's see how that goes. Right? We're experimenting. Here's that. And so in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to boil and hopefully thicken, I'm going to go ahead and cut up our chicken that's on boil. Okay, we're gonna switch over here, guys. I don't know if you can see. Switch over here. Okay, so I've got that chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and chop that chicken up and put it inside of our pot pie mixture. Hey, sweetie. There's, Greg, honey. You go open your man cave and look on the counter. Something happened. Go take a look. So anyway, so here is that chicken. I was going to cut it up, but it's falling apart by itself pretty easily. So I may not even have to do that chopping thing. I can just go ahead and probably put that right into the pan. The chicken smells really good too. And I put breast and some thighs in here. Oh my goodness, you guys, you're not gonna believe this. Our almond flour mixture is thickening. Check it out. Can you see it? I'm actually surprised because I didn't know what was gonna happen here. Look at that. It's thickening. Kind of looking a little bit about like a chicken pot pie, right? All right, I'm gonna finish cutting this chicken up, put it inside the thing, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, we have to abort our mission on our mixture here, the one that I add the almond flour and milk to. I put it in there because I thought this would thicken up, but it kind of looks like crap. So I don't know if I'm gonna put that inside of a pie crust. So remember earlier, I talked about when I put the cream of chicken and the cream of mushroom soup in here, it was like 9 grams of carbs. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this mixture for our crust that we made with the almond milk, the almond flour and coconut flour. That way we still have cut out the carbs in the crust, and we will still have an option for us to eat here, okay? So this is going to be our filling for that. I think I'm going to add a little bit more cream of something in here, make it a little bit creamier. Right now it's looking pretty good. Just because I'm being extra. And that's just some cream of chicken soup. Make our pie a little bit creamier. How's that? And I'm going to turn it off because we're going to put this inside of the crust. And I put the chicken in there. You see all that chicken? Lots of chicken. And I'll slide this over. We're going to fill our pie crusts with this. And it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this pot over here. It's not too hot. Let me grab something. I'm moving the camera. Let's see. Do I have you guys in the shot? There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill these. First, I'm going to fill our almond flour and coconut flour shell. Actually it smells like a pie crust shell. So I'm going to fill that one first. Put that all around in there. Well, I feel like I'm forgetting something and I can't quite put my finger on it. So there's that one. And here's the regular pie crust shell that I pre-baked just because I knew I was gonna pre-cook this and I didn't want to overcook these once they got in the oven and had to wait for the pie crust to cook. Okay, there's that one. Hope they turn out good. I'm hoping. It smells good. I always say that, right? All right, that's nice and hearty. So we have those all filled. Nice and filled. Now, for the 2 that have the regular pie crust shells, I've got to put the top on them, right? So I had 2 other shells that I'm just taking thawed out. I'm just taking off the top, and I'm just going to lay these over the top of that, like that. And I'm just going to pinch these edges to seal that in there. It looks official, doesn't it? I'm just kind of making it up as I'm going along. I promise you. So I'm just going to seal those in there. I think that'll work. And here's that other one that was pre-made from the store. I'll pop it out of there. Come on up. And I'm going to slap that one on top of there. And fold it and pinch the ends, the edges. That would turn out a little bit better, right? Oh, I'm kind of excited about that. Now I'm going to grab my dough that I made earlier and put it on top of that one. Guys, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Don't judge me though. So here's the rest of that dough. It's kind of crumbly, but we'll see. We shall see, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and ball it. Maybe even get a little rolling pin. I think I might be able to roll it. Let's see. Oh, it's crumbling. It's crumbling. So maybe that's not a good idea. Now you chefs, maybe you can let me know how to roll stuff. You bakers. It's a little bit crumbly, but I'm just gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it happen, Captain. Oh, that's a little bit better. Can you see that rolling action taking place? Let me bring this camera over here. Let you guys see my magnificent rolling skills. It's kind of sticking to the rolling pin a little bit. I wish this was live so you guys can give me some suggestions. I'm gonna pretend I know what I'm doing. So look, let me make that round and maybe it'll stick together as I roll it like that. I don't know. Maybe I should have kept it on that plastic, huh? Maybe I should try that. Keep it on that plastic so it won't be stuck to the countertop. Yeah, that might be. Remember, this is our almond coconut flour dough that we are experimenting with today. I'm gonna get something. Let's see if we can make this happen, guys. Scrape around there. Get it off here. Okay, I might be into something genius. I don't know. That's not working too well. Let's try to make a lattice. I don't know. It's kind of hard to work with. Let's do it like that. It's not going to be pretty. Don't judge me. We'll tweak it for next time. Kind of like dumplings, huh? That's all right. Yeah, it's kind of hard to work with. I'm gonna have to tweak that recipe. I bet there's somewhere in the world where someone makes no carb dough, pie dough. Excuse me. Good thing I'm not having a dinner party, huh? There we go. Let's come along. So the main thing I wanted to show you guys is kind of turning out weird, but we will make it happen. There we go. How about that be all the dough I put on the top? Because we have the whole crust on the bottom, right? There, how about that? I don't know. Okay, so it's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty, guys. But I'm gonna put this in the oven. Here are the, I'm gonna turn this around here. Sorry, the whole segment you probably couldn't see. And here are the ones that were pre-made, the crust. And this is our low carb almond flour coconut crust. And I'll be back when they come out of the oven. Okay guys, hey! All right, our pies are done and out of the oven, and I'm actually a little bit impressed. Let's see. There's the one with the regular crust, the other with the regular crust, and this beauty right here is the one that I made specifically for us with the almond flour and coconut flour crust. I'm excited to dig in and try it. In fact, I think I'm gonna take a spoon because I'm the only one eating that one, and I'm gonna dig into it and see what we're working with here. Kind of excited about it. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. Let's get this little piece right here. Uh-oh, sorry. Let's get this little piece here and get some of our crust in there. What do you guys think? Hope it's not too hot. You guys, it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right. Get in there and make your crust. All right. We'll see you later. Bye, guys. Take care.